wanted to emphasize the importance on using the right lubricant on your head bolts to do the head bolt installation on the 83 to 87 isuzu 1.9 gas engine. Everybody used to use oil, as you know, to install the head bolts, but I noticed that when you use oil and you put it in the hole, the oil runs down, and before all the bolts are tightened down and the head bolt has compressed the gasket, the oil leaks and seeps onto the gasket, seeps in between the cylinder head and the block, and it ends up contaminating the areas next to the water channels, and that's what you don't want. The grease will stick wherever you apply it to, and it's important to lubricate the inside and the top of this washer. Maybe put a little bit on the inside of the head, put it on the threads. And the reason that I recommend using grease over oil is that it's more slippery, and you will be able to retighten or retorque the head bolts down a second time if you need to, because you might run into a problem because using old stretched out old head bolts over and over again, they may not torque down to the specified torque the first time around, and then you go to start the engine up and you notice you have an overheating issue. Well, the overheating issue is not necessarily the gasket's fault. It's that the bolts aren't compressing the gasket enough, even though you've applied the factory manual specified torque. And so in that situation, you'll have to wait till the engine cools down, usually the next morning, pull the valve cover off and add another, well, let's say the needle goes up into the red zone in 30 minutes. You're probably going to have to add another 12 to 15 pounds of torque onto the 72 foot-pounds of torque. That'll put you up to about 84 pounds, 85 pounds. And that will probably drop the needle down to about the half mark, somewhere in there, like a half tank on the gas tank. And so you may have to do it again the next day and retighten them again, another few pounds or so. By that time you're getting up to about 88, 90 pounds, but that should be enough. And that's what I wanted to make this video about, was because sometimes oil, it won't give you a third time to retighten. Those bolts are going to lock up on you probably by the third time. You're not going to be able to tighten them a third time. They'll be pretty tight at about 85, but the grease will give you nice smooth pulling action on your torque wrench every time that you have to add more torque and retighten them. Even the third time, you should be able to turn them a little bit, and maybe not all of them, but by the third time you should be right where you're supposed to be at. Now that just applies to used, old worn head bolts. New bolts, of course, you won't run into this problem because they've never been used and stretched before. So that's why I wanted to make this video about it, because it doesn't seem like there's a lot of people explaining how to do this. You know, they just expect you to go out and go buy new bolts down at your local auto parts store. Well, you know, they don't make bolts like these anymore. They don't make them. You can't find these anywhere. You may be able to find a couple used ones on eBay, but that's about it. Most people don't want to let go of them either. You know, people hold on to these because they're like gold. Can't find them anymore. But yeah, that's the reason I made this video. I just wanted to, you know, explain a little bit more on how to reuse head bolts on this application. And so that's about it. Hope you appreciate the tip and like the video. Thanks a lot.